All right, welcome. We are live here. Another Thursday night smart home live stream. It's great to have you. And today, got a lot of folks in the chat. Oh, nice. Carl already bought the UNAS too. We'll talk about that in a minute. We got a lot of exciting smart home news. And to join me to talk about it, we have Edgar from Edgar's Home Tech. So say hi to everybody, Edgar.
Hi, everyone.
Good to have you here. And thanks for coming. Hopefully we got the echo problem solved. So let us know in the chat if you still hear echo from me or Edgar on this. But yeah, I'm got Edgar's channel up here, and you have had a lot of really cool smart home videos and just covering some topics where it's like, oh, I wish I'd gotten to that video, but like you did a great job covering it. I checked out the Anona Holo, so nice to see you checking that out. Aoife, you had a great video about that, and yeah. So what got you into smart home tech, Edgar?
So I used to work at Best Buy in the smart home department without even knowing anything about smart home. This was back in the day when the mesh routers used to be like when they started kind of like in the world of tech. And just like everybody, I started with a Philip Hue, like one of those starter kit. And I still wasn't really in it. I didn't even have an Apple TV, or HomePod didn't even exist back then. It was just kind of like, I just want to turn on my light with my phone. And then, one day I just said, you know what? Let me start just buying more devices to be able to control outside of my room. And a couple years later, here we are.
All right. Well, yeah, I got into Philips Hue, I think around the same time, kind of pre-HomePod, pre-Apple TV. And it was just a really great system in those early days. They had so much put together that we don't really have. We didn't have in any other system at the time, and now we have in a lot of options. So do you still use a lot of Philips Hue in your home, Edgar?
I do, but I just moved a couple months ago, and almost all of my like regular Philips Hue bulbs, I can't use them anymore because I have those what are they called, the
can lights?
Like those the can lights, yeah, those kinds. So I'm kind of bummed about it. So I'm trying to figure out how I can use them. But I do want to start getting smart switches. I just don't know which brand I want to go for.
Good question. Yeah, I'm sure our chat will have a lot of opinions on that. We'll say hi to some folks in the chat. I mentioned earlier, Carl already bought the UNAS too, and we will get to that in just a second. It's a really exciting launch from Ubiquiti. And then, got to have more testing. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about the NASs, and anything is better than Synology. I don't know if that's 100% true, Brian, but Synology has some good stuff still. Frederick, nice to see you here, and hear that it sounds good as well. Juan, you made it. Ratchet Gang, you're here. Hello from Georgia. Jeff. Saul from Hilton Head, good to see you here. James from Vegas. Yes, I agree, Frederick. Back to Edgar's question, what smart switches should he buy? Lutron Caseta is, I think, still the gold standard. They have more competition than they've ever had, but they're still really good. Have you thought about that one, Edgar?
No, I have. Yeah, it's one of those where you start looking at the graph, like, okay, which one should I want? And I'm like, okay, in Novelli or Lutron, and then I start looking at different brands, and all of a sudden it's like, nope, I still end up with Lutron. It's usually like the best and the most recommended one, so I might just stick to that one for sure.
Yeah, but you bring up a good point on Innovelli, because they do have a lot of cool features around smart lights smart light bulbs working with smart switches, but I've not played with any of that myself. The other thing I really like is some of Akara's new switches. I like how they have multiple buttons in the switch, right? So you have multiple options of buttons in addition to the normal switch. I've been playing with those. I mean, I also think too, like, it depends. Like, it's nice in certain ways to go with one brand, but I still have like Aqara switches in certain places in my home where then most of my home is all Lutron. So, you know, you can mix and match a little too.
Yeah, I thought about that. I'm not really, into the whole I have to stick to one brand in particular. I think as long as it works. And also, I feel like if I want to use a switches like Innovelli, I really like that status spike that it comes with. So then I can use that for certain automations and just status, like, letting somebody know, hey, I'm recording. I can just put a switch out there in red.
Yes.
And so it has its pros too.
Yeah, for sure. Because my smart light for that recording status is not a smart switch. It's just the bulb connected to a light that's, connected to power. So, but it's nice to be able to put that on a switch. So,
it opens up a lot of possibilities in terms of automations, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Even letting somebody else know, like, hey, a door's open or anything like that.
Yes, for sure. Now, another thing too, Mr. Jones is advocating for Innovelli. Frederick, I have not kept up with what the latest is from Stephen Robles on his smart switches, but I'll have to tune into. He's been pumping out a lot of videos and stuff recently with the new iOS 26 and related releases and new phones coming tomorrow. Speaking of, before we get into the news, iPhone launch day is tomorrow. Got a lot of products going live in Apple stores tomorrow. I'm going to get a new phone and new AirPods. But I don't know. That's more just because of being a content creator and wanting to keep up with the latest and greatest. I don't think people need to upgrade. I've been ridiculous in that I've bought every single version, a model from every single generation of iPhone since the original iPhone. And I kind of like keeping that streak going, but I don't know if it's certainly not necessary. And I always think 1 year, I'm just like, when am I going to stop? But I'm on the iPhone upgrade plan, so it makes it very easy to just trade it in and stuff. But I don't know. We'll see. Edgar, are you getting anything tomorrow, or is it's a quiet day in your house?
I think it's going to be a quiet one. I was excited for the AirPod, but I think I'm going to stick with the Pro 2 that I have right now. It wasn't anything major that would make me want to buy, honestly. Sure. And it's been working fine. I know that it has, I believe they say, double the noise canceling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, I want to see reviews first before I think about it.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. And, the AirPods Pro 2 are such good headphones to begin with, right? If you have them and they're working well, like you don't need an upgrade. So I completely understand there. And plus, for those who don't know, I saw your post on Instagram. You're a good follow on Instagram. Edgar just upgraded his camera setup for YouTube for better smart home videos. Right. So that's exciting.
I was using a Fujifilm camera, and now I finally have the ZV E10 Mark II. So I'm very excited to start making content with that. It's, that's actually what I'm recording right now.
You're looking good on camera. It's good picture quality coming through. So, and we have some interesting questions on smart switches here. Is Aqara, Ratchet Gang's asking, as fast as Lutron? I would say probably not. At least in my experience, it's not quite as snappy, but it's still very fast. I just don't know if I'd like in a head-to-head battle if they would actually pull out. I don't think Aqara would be as fast as Lutron. But what I like about Aqara is the different features they have. If you have a house without neutral wires, Aqara has a lot of options for switches without neutral wires. Another thing is a lot of houses I don't know exactly what time period, but there's plenty of houses out there that have the multiple switches in one gang on the wall, right? So you have a top switch and a bottom switch in the same little light switch area. And Aqara has some of those dual paddle options for those kinds of switches to make them smart. You could also, split those into two separate switches and cut a bigger hole in your wall. That's another option. But Aqara makes that easy with you can just replace this dual switch that's non-smart with a smart switch. And then I also like Aqara's newer switches. They have multiple buttons. So if you're just replacing one switch, you get the on off for that, but then you also get two other buttons you can add to control different other scenes in your smart home as a smart button. So some cool things from Aqara that aren't necessarily as related to speed, which I think are nice.
You just brought up a point of I actually want to run my bathroom light with the fan and just run a straight cable, but I won't be able to fit two switches. So the Aqara light switch would be perfect for that.
Oh,
so that
yes.
I can run the fan and the light separately. So,
yes,
yep.
That's a great use case for those Aqara switches. Okay, cool. I'm just reading about the chat. Lutron RA3 training. Oh, cool. So James is doing the training for, I guess, becoming a Lutron RA3 is their high-end system. So James is getting training on, or thinking about getting training on that system, which seems really cool. I've seen some of it at some of the CES and some other places, but I've never actually used RA3 or RA2 myself. But without further ado, let's get into some of the news from this week. So we had a big announcement from Unify with their new line of UNAS storage. So the UNAS Pro was their original UNAS line that we already had, right? And then we have the UNAS Pro 8 and Pro 4 sort of on either end of that line. And then these really interesting UNAS 2 and UNAS 4 desktop options. Without going too much into the specs, because this is a whole bunch of layers of stuff that I'll probably get into in other videos and other stuff. But the 2.5 gigabit RJ45 is interesting on these devices that they don't have 10 gigabit. But if you think about it, if you're just pulling data off of hard drives, it's probably plenty. And then they have this USB-C connection to your computer. So you still get the benefit of almost it being like an external drive on a computer nearby, but it's still also a NAS. So it's a cool option there that Ubiquiti's adding. And just a lot of interesting options here around. And this is just one of a bunch of different product releases Ubiquiti's had recently that we could get into. I mean, they had some new cameras. They had the Unify Protect light system, I think it is. So they have a really cool new, NVR system. I can't remember what it's called right now, but yeah. So, what do you think about these new NAS systems? Any of them look interesting to you, Edgar, for putting in your smart home?
For sure, I agree with Frederick. The UNAS 4 is going to be a good one to buy for sure. I'm very surprised about the PoE connection. That's how it's going to get powered. I'm interested into that. That's a pretty bold move.
Yeah, I agree. I think especially with it's PoE plus, is it plus?
Plus.
Okay,
yeah, 3 pluses.
Which that's a lot of pluses to power over PoE. Now. So it almost means you could look at it in another way of Ubiquiti isn't shipping this device with a power adapter in the box, right?
Yeah.
and there's that side of it. So because if you got to buy your own PoE plus injector to add that, that's
is that becoming the trend with all the companies not sending a power cable? I mean, iPhones are coming out like that now, or AirPods. It's just kind of becoming a trend that it looks like.
Yeah, it's almost seeming to a lot of companies in the smart home space seem to send just a USB-C to USB-A cable and expect you to have a USB-A plug to power it with. I mean, the economics of selling tech products these days is pretty tough. So if this is how companies save money and they don't raise their prices too much, I'm not that opposed to it, but it's certainly not convenient. So we'll see. But I think the PoE stuff is more Ubiquiti than anything else. Okay, cool. I did not see this one. The Xiaolei panel. Okay. Cool. I'll have to look at that. But we got finally got what I think might be what is actually adaptive temperature. So we saw a bunch of rumors earlier this year on adaptive temperature being like this new thing that Apple was working on for the smart home. And it was going to be a new smart way to change your thermostat, right? So you leave your home and then it drops the temperature if it's cold outside, right? It raises the temperature in your home if it's warm outside, and does a bunch of other smart stuff to save you money. Nothing groundbreaking. Other companies do it that sell thermostats. The cool side of it from Apple is that they have so much context about your life, right? If you set directions in Apple Maps to go home, Apple knows about that, and Apple knows much more accurately when you're going to arrive compared to some other company that's just looking at your background location. But none of that seems to really be happening. It's like more just like some basic automations you can set in Apple Home. I still think there's another shoe to drop here, but I don't know. Are you into this idea, Edgar, with adaptive temperature or not?
I'm not sure if I'll be using it, to be honest. I really like my automation of just knowing when my phone arrives, when I set it up to go at the temperature that I would like it to be. And same thing with my lights and the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
So I think I'll stick to how I have it and just, see how it matures. It isn't the right approach of actually learning about, actually becoming a smart home.
Yeah.
Because it just gonna, I think that's a little bit of AI behind all of that, which, it sounds interesting.
Yeah. It's one of those like details where on the surface, it sounds so cool, right? You can have AI adjust your temperature in your home. But when I've played with it with other thermostats and things, it ends up being then, well, why all of a sudden is the house set to 62 degrees? And, it's like, this doesn't make any sense. And now all of a sudden, things are working way harder than they need to at certain times. And I have no doubt that Apple can figure out some smarts around that, and maybe with these automations it'll be good. But I agree. I much more like to have some very simple automations around temperature, and otherwise just you set it. And the benefit of smart thermostats is that you can set it remotely and adjust it so you're coming home. You can tweak the thermostat before you arrive home. That can always be nice, but.
Yeah, when I got my Ecobee Premium, I was trying to learn whatever it thinks is appropriate for my house. There's no way that I'm going to do 80 degrees here in Florida. So I just decided to just change it myself and said, I wanted to have it at 75 now.
Yes, totally. The set the power and hold. Yeah. I agree. That's funny. I'm sure. Yeah, it's because it probably looking at your ambient temperature in Florida and thinking, well, we could save Edgar so much money if we just set his house to 80. But the computer doesn't have to live with that temperature.
Yeah.
Apple has, speaking of the new iPhones coming tomorrow, they have a fix for a glitch affecting certain iPhones around taking pictures into LEDs in certain cases. And I usually wouldn't call these kinds of things out on my stream, right? Because it's more iPhone news than like smart home. But if there's a collection of people who would buy one of the new iPhones and then use it to take pictures of LED lights, I felt like this audience would be right there. So heads up if you plan on taking pictures of LED lights with the new iPhone. I think apparently there's a iOS 26.0.1 potentially coming with a fix for this, but here's an example picture of this from CNN's Henry Casey. So yeah, heads up. And Edgar, what do you think could be better with your fridge than making it smart so that you can see ads? You gonna get this?
Not particular, not that one. Honestly, I just want a fridge that works. I don't really care for it to be smart.
Yes.
But to be honest, it would be nice. Sometimes you're at the store and you want to know what's inside your fridge before you forgot about it and you need to buy eggs or anything like that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to see commercials. So if there's any way to fix that, yeah, I would stay away from commercials or advertisements of that kind.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those awkward things where people are trying to find uses for like, what about putting a screen on your fridge? And I like the idea of being able to see what's in your fridge when you're away from home, but you don't need the screen for that. You just need cameras for it. Bosch had some kind of practical ideas with their Matter fridge at CES where you could see temperature and like, is the door left open? But I've been playing with something that there are various sensors you can use for that with any fridge. I've been playing with some Yolink sensors. I don't know if you are familiar with this, but they have some sensors that are good for things like refrigerators. I mean, and there are other options, but these are ones that I've been playing with. I'm just pulling up their page with all their sensors. They have a bunch of stuff, but it's a nice radio frequency for this kind of thing. So we'll see. I might make this into a video.
Directly with a hub, with Wi-Fi, or is it Zigbee?
It's a hub. Yeah, it's a hub. I can't remember if it's Zigbee. I think it's like their own thing, but yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm with you. I don't think all the money for a smart fridge, not what I would want to spend, especially if it's going to show me ads.
Yeah, when it comes to fridges or stove, all I want to know if the door's open, or if the stove was left on, that kind of stuff. I don't need it to be, control it remotely. Sure, it would be nice to have a camera to see what's inside my fridge.
Yeah.
But I don't really need a screen, to be honest. I can open the door.
Yes. Imagine that. You could open the door. So Meta had a big announcement this week, a big event. And they announced some new smart glass updates for their standard Meta Ray-Bans and Oakleys. They also announced this new Meta display-equipped smart glasses, which are actually supposed to be pretty cool from early impression, hands-on time that different tech publications have had. A long time ago when I worked in San Francisco, the company I was working for, another team at our company had some things they were doing with Google. And because of that, we had a Google Glass headset in the office, right? So I got to try Google Glass way back in the day. And as much as it made you look weird by having this giant thing on your face, it's kind of nice to have all that information. So like in the corner of your eye. So I could kind of see the practicality behind having a display on my glasses. I don't know if I'm going to run out and spend $800 on these glasses, but I'm just curious, Edgar, like if Apple were to make something like this, we've heard rumors of AirPods with cameras. We've heard rumors of, maybe they are working on some kind of a smart glasses. Like, would you be interested in that kind of product from Apple, or is it not really your kind of thing?
So I have to use glasses now. So if I could see my notifications, but I could also silence them without any advertisements, because I feel like, I don't know how the Meta glasses are, but I personally would stay away just because there's just so much out there. But if Apple were to release one, I'll definitely consider, so I don't have to look at my phone or my watch. I can just keep walking around and tell our assistant, hey, do this. That would be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I hope it's not on the same price range as the VR from Apple right now, because I can't get that.
Yeah. Apple Vision Pro is very
Yeah,
nice,
the
but
Vision
it's definitely a niche product right now. And you can see where maybe Apple's trying to go towards something with glasses with that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if Apple would be, like you're saying, like nearly as competitive on price as Meta is with theirs. So, it would be probably a lot of money to swallow or spend. But if it was an attainable cost, I think Apple could do some cool software stuff here. But
yeah, I would say that Meta has done a lot of R&D. So that price that seems like a lot, it's probably really good compared to any other company. Let's say like Apple, if they were to release one, it would definitely be closer to 2,000, if anything. That's honestly what I think it would be. So
yeah,
if you can buy, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens, what Apple does, what other companies do. I'm certainly excited to see what reviewers think of these Meta glasses and see how they actually perform in the real world. No product survives contact with customers, but with another piece of tech that was announced recently that I think it might win the award for the ugliest smart home tech ever. Is this new TCL smart lock. They managed to squeeze a bunch of different features into a knob, but I just think this thing, especially in that chrome finish, just looks so terrible. I don't know. What do you think, Edgar?
Yeah, I'm definitely not getting that one. And I'm very surprised because I think they have other locks and they look normal, but that one, I'm really surprised who was the team that designed that one.
Yeah.
And who approved it is another one.
Yeah, because I can see some of the logic here, right? Because it's like, oh, you put these ridges on here, it makes it easier to turn it. And then, while you're turning it, why don't we just read your fingerprint right there? And so I can see like some impressive engineering here to like make all this stuff work and to fit all the features in here. But it was one of those things where, yeah, just something about it just didn't turn out well in the look and feel department. But we'll see.
I think the color throws it off even more. If it had a different color, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe we can overlook how it looks. Yeah, for sure.
But it is only $80. So for a smart lock to cost $80, $79 is not is pretty competitive. So that does make it look a little more attractive, maybe, but I don't know. I think there's probably some other options for not too far off from $80. But
I was gonna say, I mean, you can find one of the Thorable, I think, even on sale sometimes for $100, so $20 more than that, and you get Apple HomeKey with Thread.
Yes,
and actually nice looking lock. So it's like you're pushing it with that new style that you're going for.
Yes, I have the Thorbolt Mark I myself on my door here in my office. Here, I'll pull that up so people know what I'm talking about. This is the Thorbolt Mark I. Yeah, $90 here for this. A lot of same features, not the name brand of TCL, but like Edgar said, it has Apple HomeKey or a HomeKit integration. Sorry, it works with Matter over Thread. Not Matter over Thread. It works with Thread. I think there is actually a Matter version of this, but yeah, it's been a solid lock for me. They sent it to me, but it's been working well. So, yeah. All right, let's say hi to some folks in the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Edgar. You're about to say something.
No, I was gonna say I have the X1. I really like that lock. It's been very reliable. I installed it at a family member, and it's actually their first smart device. We end up getting them a HomePod, so we introduced them to that smart lock, and it's been flawless. Like very, very nice lock.
Great. That's great to hear. Yeah, I'm getting a new front door. I have a review of a smart lock coming to channel members tomorrow and then going out to everybody on Saturday. And then 2 weeks from now, I'm actually getting a new front door put on my house. And I'm thinking of putting on that exact X1 lock because they sent me one and it looks really cool, but I haven't played with it yet. But it's definitely one I want to check out because I've heard good things from you and from other people. So, yeah. Yeah, look and feel has never been the smart home. Yes. Compromises were made. All right. I think that was about the TCL lock. Their window lock is much better. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know TCL made a smart. This is why I like the chat. Thank you, Lone Star Trent. I didn't know TCL made a smart window lock. Or are you talking about Thorbolt? Oh, yes. And Carl brings up a good point back to the fridge from Samsung that has ads. If Meta has glasses, right, they're going to have ads in them probably. So, anyways, and Hall in Tech writes, we bought a new fridge from Samsung and it died. The one thing I did miss with the lack of light in the freezer. Wow. That's really bad that they have that. Yes, never hook up a fridge to the network. Is your refrigerator running? Well, I just hacked it. That's something though, like, I don't know, Edgar, you were talking about IFA on your channel and I was talking about IFA on my channel. And like one of the things at IFA this year, I think Samsung's done similar things at CES. I know they've done it at CES and I think at IFA other years, but just they have so many parts of the smart home that they are involved in. It's really mind-blowing when you look at, because Samsung is considered in certain ways a competitor to Apple, and they're just way more into smart home, from appliances to smart things, their smart home platform, to even building modular homes and stuff. I don't know. It got me thinking, like, is Samsung gonna like really eat Apple's lunch here in the smart home space? I mean, I don't know.
I feel like they've tried. They tried to set themselves up, and with the new hub, and I think they even changed the manufacturer of the hub, and I thought it was going to be a much better hub, and it just never really kicks off. It just kind of stays there, and only their fan uses it, but it never actually goes to the next level. I feel like Apple is still ahead of them, and if Apple actually releases some sort of tablet and makes it that our actually introduces AI into our smart home, I don't know if they'll be able to catch up. It's just the level that Apple is at. It's just so much easier. I mean, I've tried playing with Lady A and making automations in that department, and I don't know.
ALEXA, yes.
Yeah, I struggle. I just, maybe I don't have experience with it, but it just feels like with Apple, it's a lot more intuitive, and the automations are just easier to make. Even complex one, even though we can't really get to a level of Home Assistant, but it's still you still can figure things out with Apple than if you were to compare it with SmartThings or Lady A. But I don't know. I do have a SmartThing hub, and I thought about it getting, because I was thinking of getting appliances, but it wasn't as pleasant as using Apple HomeKit devices. Just never felt like it actually worked for some reason.
Yeah. It's it's a good point of like, you can have all the pieces there, but if you can't put them all together in a cohesive way, then it's not really gonna click.
Yeah.
It's let's talk to Bixby, which is the Samsung assistant. or, ALEXA, like I've been impressed with in certain cases, but it's just some of the experience around adding smart home routines and devices is way more clunky than it is on the Apple side. And I think, the software, like I work in software development during the day and have for years. And there was a company at IFA, this smart home company, and they asked me after like my briefing, like, hey, what kinds of things can we do to make our app better? And I had some more actionable and like thoughtful ideas for them after that, like not like right on the spot, but it's just like it's a hard thing to get a culture in your company that wants to regularly ship good software and can emphasize the right aspects of that. And I think we see a lot of smart home companies as big as Samsung and much smaller just struggle to make good software to integrate with their hardware, and that's something that, while Apple is not perfect at software, like they're very good in a lot of ways that just put them so far ahead of a lot of the competition.
Yeah, and hopefully Matter helps the other companies to bring their smart home ecosystem to a level where people can feel comfortable using, So we'll see. We'll have to give Matter a little bit more time to mature. I mean, I have some appliances. I have an oven that is
cool.
With SmartThing, and my fridge is also. But all he does is tell me the door is open. That's all I get. Or I get notification when my microwave timer is done. So it's very limited what you can do with them. So I will see what happens in the future. Hopefully, SmartThings can do better. They have a lot of appliances. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, for that practical use case, Edgar, when you put your popcorn in the microwave and then you leave your home, then you can get a notification to know when your popcorn is done, right? Like, I don't know. Like,
pretty much.
It doesn't sound super useful, but I get where they're coming from. It's like, a technology in search of a problem. But
yeah, I guess the big loud noise that it makes when it's done is not enough, so they have to send me a notification. I have to. I'm like, oh, it's done. Let me go grab my popcorn.
Yes, exactly, or whatever, probably more healthy thing you're eating. Your goose is cooked. The same as with the oven. Oh man, we got some hardcore smart home fans in here. Lone Star Trent saying in Miss Cortana. Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of the news. We'd love to hear if anybody has any questions in the chat, smart home setup ideas or tips for people. I'm curious, Edgar, like what kind of, as we look to the fall and to next year, like what parts of your smart home do you feel like could be, and I didn't prep you with this question, or didn't like send this question in advance, right? Just like on the spot, but like any ideas that come to mind of places in your home that could be like so much more smart, that you'd love, like you feel like there just aren't the products there for you to do what you want to do right now.
So I already mentioned the switches. I think that is one of the priority right now. But if I were to pick another one, is definitely some outdoor lighting. I wish I had. I really like Philips Hue outdoor lighting, but they're so expensive. I would love to run them and just because I leave some of my lights outside on. But if I could leave those as like just pointing at the trees, that kind of stuff, I would love that. That is something. That is a project that for the holidays would be perfect.
Yes,
I can set up anything. Halloween's coming up.
Yeah, outdoor lights, shift the colors for different holidays. Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah.
Running those cables though to all those lights can be kind of tricky sometimes, but
that is true. But I'm lucky that I have some outdoor outlets.
Okay.
So
nice.
All I have to do is just dig a couple holes and run the wires so that we don't see them.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
That could be a really cool setup. I know Shane has done some outdoor lights with Govee, and I've seen some other creators do some stuff around that. What do you think about those prism lights that came out at IFA with Govee with those sort of like 3 lights in one? Did those look like something interesting to you, or would you want just like single lights?
I like them. I like how they look and how you can customize it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I were to run the entire house with those lights, if I would have them on at all. Like I think I would do kind of how Shane has it, where he like lits up probably corners of the house. That would probably be enough for me to where I can, run colors all around it without feeling like my house is a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Not really a fan of that look, honestly.
It does. It almost looks like you're saying, like Christmas tree, or like a gingerbread house, I think, in certain ways.
Pretty much.
Like, yeah, it has I've seen there's some houses in our neighborhood that do have those permanent outdoor lights installed, and yeah, it's certainly an opinionated look, and it's part of why I haven't gone with any of them in my house. I don't really have a good lots of good exterior places for them to show them off well in video, which is another reason why, but it's also just like I don't really love the look to begin with. So yeah, not really something I've done. Novo Stella floodlights into Apple Home. Okay, cool. And they work great with automations. Okay, cool. I'm not actually familiar with that brand. Checking them out right now. So here, let's pull these up. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'd never heard of these. This is Holland Tech mentioned. Okay, they got a lot of coverage, different places. Nice. Some of these houses, the pictures look really nice. They do have some of those under eave lighting kind of things like we're talking about, but like this house looks really nice. I guess these. Nice. Okay. All right. Well, thanks Holland Tech for pointing that one out. And yeah, we had some comments earlier about Samsung appliances, and I love this one from Saul. I have a smart washer and dryer that make obnoxious messages over the speakers and aggravate my wife when the loads are done. It's funny.
I actually have one of those GE combo washer and dryer. Apparently it's smart because I get the notification, but I wish Apple would support washer and dryer so that we can have at least our voice assistant telling us. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing with different things with Homey to do, and some energy monitoring to do notifications for washer and dryer. One of these days I'll get that video fully written and wrapped up and ready to talk about. But in the meantime, like I was looking at earlier this year, we bought a new dryer, and it was like I looked at some of the GE ones, and I ended up just going with one that looked good from all the specs that we wanted that didn't happen to be smart. It was an Electrolux dryer, and it's worked great. It's a solid dryer, but has 0 smart features, and that's been overall fine. But yeah. The only other thing I wanted to mention on the UNAS stuff, if you're a fan of Shane Watley's podcast, and he's had some issues. He's talked about this, I think, on the live streams too, but his rack fell over because he tried to mount a UNAS Pro into his rack, and it was too heavy and it fell off the wall, and that caused all kinds of havoc in his house. So I was just thinking that like the UNAS 2 or the UNAS 4 would have been perfect for Shane if they had existed like 6 months ago, because then he wouldn't have had to rack mount it, and then his rack wouldn't have fallen off his wall, and then his dogs wouldn't have starved. But that's all like inside of like a lot of his content, but just wanted to point that out. It's like it is. I like. It was another thing that I noticed with a lot of Ubiquiti stuff recently. Like I like that they are getting away from everything being rack mounted, because I just think, well, rack mounting is great and I love it. I just don't think it's practical for everybody. Like they have the Cloud Gateway Fiber, which is a really nice not rack mounted gateway, basically like main router, and then with the oh wait, I need to go to their store, I think, to show this. Yes, the UNVR is their new NVR. Again, not rack mounted. Single unit starts at $200 for their new UNVR. And I think that's, well, I like the rack mounted stuff, and I'm sure they'll keep making it, but it's nice to have some options there. So
do you know by any chance, I don't know if you mentioned earlier, if the UNAS 4 or 8, I believe, can it be used independently, or do I have to have already a system from Unify? Like if I were to buy it just to have it as a NAS.
I'm actually not 100% sure. Maybe someone in the chat can add in. I think you can use at least some of the UNAS products as standalone NASs without the rest of the system. But I'm not 100% sure on that, because I've actually thought about that too, of like, could I have one at the co-working space where I go and like just use it there? And I don't know. We'll see.
Because I was thinking I do want to have some Unify stuff and have a server or a NAS over there. But then if I want to have really fast speed, I would have to run a very long cable. But if I could just have it right here next to me, that would be super ideal for my own footage whenever I'm recording the videos.
Yes.
So very, very appealing for me.
I will say, if, for any, I guess maybe this is, you're a little bit further along in content creation maybe than this, Edgar, but like I've found building a library of video clips over time has been invaluable. It's a huge, what I view at this point is like an asset in my business of just, I have unboxings of all these different products, like cataloged, along with like just B-roll footage of that particular product. So if I want to briefly talk about some old product that I haven't, shot any video of in a while, I can just pull that file out of there and drop it in. And some of you who watch my channel a lot might have seen like me reusing certain clips as I continue to reference things like the Lutron Caseta hub or the Philips Hue hub, and I just drop those clips in. Into different videos, and that can save a lot of time, because then you don't have to go shoot that same clip again and again and again.
I actually use this software called Eagle, and it works for that. It's actually you can tag it, you can add little shortcuts so you can find footage that you recorded years ago.
That's so cool.
Actually was a very, very nice app. I saw it from one other YouTuber. He was recommending it. He was talking about different apps, and I actually liked it so far.
What's it? How do you spell it again?
I think it's just Eagle.
Oh,
just
Eagle.
The word Eagle, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Is it eagle.cool is their website. That's funny domain name. Oh, cool. And I know like Frame.io has some stuff like this, but in the cloud, although then, because it's in the cloud, you got to continue to pay for more and more video storage. This looks really fancy. I like this a lot.
One thing that I like about Eagle is that if you're looking for a picture or anything like that online, if you just highlight the photo and kind of, let's say, drag it for a second, it'll give you a little notification where you can place it there, and it'll get it into your library without having you to save it, put it in a folder. Just automatically it adds up to your library, which is super convenient as you're, surfing the web.
Very cool. Well, thank you for pointing me in this direction, Edgar, because I was not familiar with that. I just organized my stuff in like the macOS Finder in folders, and it works. But to your point with tagging, there's stuff that applies to multiple scenarios, right? Like an Apple Home Key lock is great for Apple Home Key, but it's also great for that particular lock.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Unify is going more. Yeah, Holland Tech has a good point here, and okay, so Carl's saying, back to your question, Edgar, earlier, it can be a relatively cheap to get a small Unify router or switch and to get the UNAS and get all their software included. Okay, so I think you might need to get the actual whole system or a gateway. But yeah, something to look into. Maybe we'll follow up on a future stream on the details there. So we've been going now for almost an hour. Edgar, where can people find you out here on YouTube, social media, other places?
Definitely YouTube would be Edgar's Home Tech, as well as my Instagram. Same thing, Edgar's Home Tech. Should
Cool.
be able to get there.
Yeah, you're a great follow in both places, and I think you're putting out a lot of great content. And just wanted to have you on the channel. I know you've been an active member of this live chat in other live streams, and also Shane's live stream as well. So it's fun. Also, I think sometimes first for those in the chat who are creators and are comfortable on camera to bring you on here so everybody else can also see now when you see Edgar's Home Tech in the chat, I can't talk tonight. Then now we know who you are. So and then you can go watch your YouTube channel and see all of your videos as well. Is there particular before we go, I do want to ask you, you played with did you play with the SwitchBot Lock Ultra?
I did.
Yes.
I did.
Because you have a video on that.
Yes.
I have not watched your video, but I will. But I'm just curious, at a high level, what do you think of that lock? Because we were talking about some other smart locks earlier. Did you like it? You don't. It sounds like you don't have it on your front door right now.
No, that's because my first Apple HomeKey lock was actually the Aqara U100, and my girlfriend loved it, and I'm not changing that. If she likes it,
yes.
Why bother? So, we really like the Apple HomeKey, even though a lot of the time I end up using the fingerprint, and I know they have. I know the SwitchBot has the vision where you can, as you're walking, it opens up the door. I didn't actually test that on my front door. I just tested here in the studio, and it worked amazing. I mean, I really liked it, even in the dark, even with shades on, it would work. So, but honestly, I wanted to be Apple HomeKey. Sometimes I'm carrying things, and there's a lot of factors where my watch is usually the first thing that comes in. So It also feels cool. I actually like the animation that you get as you're doing it. So
yes,
I've always liked that, and I think I probably will never go back. I think my next lock, if I ever change it, it's definitely going to have Apple HomeKey. Even though I know the new standards coming up as you're approaching, that's something that I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yep, that is something that I'm very, very excited. And who knows, maybe I won't care about Apple HomeKey by then.
Yeah, it's but it does almost feel like table stakes in a certain way. And to be clear, I think from what I've seen of Aliro, you still get Apple HomeKey as an experience. It's just on the back end, it's using Aliro to do the actual unlocking. So I think the experience for us Apple users, and the key advantage there for Aliro, if you're looking at, do I wait for an Aliro lock as a viewer of the live stream or not? If you have family members or friends who are part of your smart home who use an Android phone, that can be really practical, because then they will also get, if their Android phone has NFC, they'll get tap to unlock with that, just like you have with Apple HomeKey. If you're an all Apple family, right? If everybody in your family has iPhones or Apple Watches, then that's not as much the case. But yeah.
Going back to the SwitchBot Ultra, I think the battery life of that lock is amazing. I wish we had more companies, using that type of technology where you have triple the battery capacity of a standard, which is usually 8 to a year. This thing has 3 different batteries. Like, there's no way you could run out of battery. If that's the case, then you definitely have to have your physical key with you at that point. It's just too good.
Yes, it's, and I also think SwitchBot for that lock, and people are probably wondering, like, what is this lock who are not familiar? I'm going to pull up SwitchBot's website. But they've done a good job, I think, in making it not look too bad. Like, I don't like the computer on your wall look, but it's like, this is a lot better than that TCL lock we looked at earlier. That's for sure. So yeah, it's kind of a balancing act, right? Do you add the battery and then make the thing bulkier, or do you like I'm reviewing the level, I got a review on the level Lock Pro coming on Saturday, tomorrow for members, and that is a very small lock with a very small battery. But battery life still, I think, not as much in the conversation because it's still pretty good on that lock, but yeah, that's good. A good call out on the 12 months of battery life. Wow, I didn't know that's what they were quoting in their marketing. That's impressive. All right. Well, yeah, and I'll link to your Edgar has a video on the SwitchBot lock. You say this lock feels like the future. I think that's a really cool title. Makes sense for that lock with the face unlock capability and the fingerprints. So I'll leave a link to that in the description below. And with that, thank you so much for joining, everybody. Thank you, Edgar. It was great having you. And I hope to... is there any other video you think from your channel, Edgar, people should go check out? I just kind of picked the SwitchBot one, but it might not be what you'd want to send people to. Maybe your latest video.
I would say probably the Thorbolt.
Oh, yes.
That video, that was one of my last ones. I just really like that lock. I actually might even change my original already good lock, which is the U100. I've had amazing experience, but it's just the lock itself that it matches my door better. Is thread, which is for me has been really fast, and yeah.
Nice.
So far, good. Yeah.
That's something I've liked about the Level Lock Pro. Is the Level Lock Pro has been very fast for me, and that's matter over thread and has done well. But I'll put a link to this video in the chat here. That's Edgar's video on the X1. So go check that out if you haven't already. Thanks, Edgar, for having me, and hope you guys have a good rest of your evening or day, and have a good weekend. Happy iPhone launch day tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.